What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am here with a video response to Metalben's Chronicles, who's become a good friend of mine here in the YouTube metal community. So, I participated in a live stream of his recently, where he was doing top 10 metal sophomore albums and such. So I decided, you know what? How about I do a video like that? Instead of 10, I actually went with 15 because there are 15, I'd say these 15 albums right here are, in my opinion at least, the 15 best sophomore albums in metal history. Just because, like, you want to talk about like a big quantum leap from where they were on their debut, whether it's through songwriting or production value or a combination of both or influence. So without further ado, I have 15 right here next to me, and we're going to start things off with one from the 90s that gets tossed around a little bit, and that's Fear Factory's Demanufacture. So yeah, this album back in 1995, Roadrunner Records. So talk about a big leap in terms of quality and songwriting compared to where they were on their first album, Soul of a New Machine, where Soul of a New Machine was more of an industrial death grind album with some thrash thrown in there. Here, they went pretty much straightforward, I should say. Industrial mixed with death metal, thrash metal, and groove metal, which was really popular at the time. But yeah, songs like Self-Biased Resistor, Zero Signal is the highlight for me off of this, Replica, Pissed Christ, Flashpoint, Body Hammer, Hunter Killer. They're just top to bottom. This, in my opinion, in terms of all of industrial metal, this for me is the gold standard right here. Demanufacture by Fear Factory. Apologize for the glare. It's annoying, I know. Anyways, at number 14, I have from the mid-2000s, Trivium's Ascendancy. Yeah, I'm a big Trivium guy. Always have been, always will be. Even after they've faltered in their sound, even though they faltered in their sound in the early to mid-2010s, they've picked up big time over the past 3 albums. But for me, nothing tops their first 4. But here, with Ascendancy, talk about a big change up in songwriting and the production. Like, the first album was pretty gritty sounding, and it was a great debut. But here, the production value went up so many notches. Jason Sukoff and also the people at More Sound Studios and Andy Sneap, phenomenal job with the production on here. It still sounded great, but it still has a little bit of a raw energy to it. And songs like Rain, Drown and Torn Asunder, Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr, Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation Like Light to the Flies, Dying in Your Arms, Departure, just top to bottom. If you want to call Trivium a metalcore band, then, I mean, I still struggle with calling them a metalcore band because there's one ingredient that they have in their sound that doesn't make them metalcore: guitar solos. I think groove, thrash, mellow death, kind of like a combination of those 3 styles, is a better descriptor, in my opinion, for Trivium. I still don't get why people call them a metalcore band just because of the vocal style, but musically they're so beyond that style. But regardless, yeah, this album for me, when it comes to that mid-2000s American metal sound, this is a pillar album of that in my mind. And it was only their second album. Coming in at number 13, we have a pioneer one in extreme metal, Venom, black metal. Some people might be shocked I don't have this higher. I just think that the other 12 albums are better than this one. But can't deny the impact and the influence that this album has had all across extreme music, like black metal. They gave the name to the genre right here, and early thrash, a little bit of death metal eventually would follow suit from this album. But you had songs like the title track, Buried Alive, Raise the Dead, Teacher's Pet, Sacrifice, Countess Bathory, Don't Burn the Witch. Just classic songs, and it's super raw, super gritty, but it's so energetic. And that's really all you want out of Venom, is raw, energetic speed metal that would eventually inspire black metal among so many other facets of music. But yeah, black metal by Venom. Number 12, a big one in death metal, and I think Necrotic Nick, if you're watching from the Thralls of Metal, you're going to love this pick. And I completely forgot to show this off during Ben's live stream, and I feel like a dick. Obituary, Cause of Death. I mean, this album... Yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite death metal albums. Slowly We Raw was fantastic, but I think Cause of Death totally took a major step forward in terms of songwriting. Tracks like Infected, their cover of Celtic Frost, Circle of the Tyrants, the best Celtic Frost cover of all time. The title track, Turned Inside Out, Chopped in Half, Body Bag, top to bottom, just groovy death metal perfection right here. When it comes to who's the best band to do groovy death metal, Obituary, in my opinion, is the band, especially on their first 3-4 albums, and their latest one was pretty good too, Cause of Death. Coming in at number 11, a personal favorite of mine, and that is Slayer, Hell Awaits. I just think in terms of like where they were on Sound or Show No Mercy to this, it's like night and day from where they were on Show No Mercy. Like Show No Mercy, not as thrash-centered, more speed metal with hints of black metal. Like, they were really into, like, Venom and bands like that, and also paying homage to Maiden and Priest and the new wave of British heavy metal a little bit. But here, this is the album where I think Slayer truly found their sound. It's evil, it's heavy, it's brutal. It's kind of close to the early death metal sound, too. I think if this album's production was just a little bit better, I could have called this the first real death metal album. Even though vocally, there's a few growls, but it's mostly Tom's shouts and high falsettos. But still, like, musically, this was also Slayer at their most progressive, because their songs on here are quite long. Like the title track, At Dawn They Sleep, Crypts of Eternity, Praise of Death, like 5 to 7 minutes long. And it's only 7 tracks at nearly 40 minutes. This is a fantastic album. Kill Again, Necrophiliac, Hardening of the Arteries. This is just, to me, thrash metal glory for 1985. The most evil sounding album of 1985. Dispute me if you want in the comments. But now we're into the coup de grace, the top 10. What are the 10 most essential sophomore metal albums of all time, in my opinion? Coming in at number 10 is Dark Throne's A Blaze in the Northern Sky. Yeah, their debut, Soulside Journey, when they were more straight-up death metal, and I love that album a lot, but here, this, in my opinion, is the peak, the pinnacle of all things Dark Throne. I mean, 6 songs, but they're all fucking classics. Catharian Life Code and The Shadow of the Horns, Paragon Belial, Where Cold Wind Blows, the title track, and The Pagan Winter. Just, ugh. Downright gross, disgusting, heavy fucking black metal with some great melodies, great dynamics, some death metal riffs and moments in the songwriting structures show a little bit of that death metal still left over from Soulside Journey. But yeah, this is just a fantastic album. One of my favorite black metal albums of all time. Even though I'm not the world's biggest black metal fan, I do love black metal. But this, to me, if I were to rank like the 10 greatest black metal albums of all time, this would be top 3 or 4. No question about it. Fucking amazing. Coming in at number 9, probably out of all the top 10, this is the most recent one. 2004, Mastodon, Leviathan. Mastodon, one of my all-time favorite bands. I have all but 2 of their albums, The Hunter and Once More Around the Sun. I am going to get those in the collection eventually, but Leviathan, this really took the band to a new level. Like, Remission was really good, but here, this is what really broke them out, especially with the song Blood and Thunder, one of the best metal songs of the 2000s. Other great tracks on here like Sea Beast, Island, Iron Tusk, Megalodion, Aqua Dementia, Hearts Alive, where they showcase much more of their progressive rock influences. But I mean, just, fucking amazing stuff. Great, one of the best prog metal albums of the 2000s. But Crack the Sky, I think, is a little bit better. But Leviathan is definitely a close second place. But in terms of sophomore albums, in terms of recent... I had a hiccup for a second. In terms of recent years, this is fucking brilliant. Coming in at number 8, paying homage to Barney Rubble from The Simpsons there, is now we're going to start getting into more thrash here, because up next we have Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. I just think in terms of like where they were on their first album, Fistful of Metal, compared to here, total 180 direction. Like that first album was very speedy, very punky in their thrash with a higher vocal register, and it's a great debut, but in terms of like production value and songwriting and performance, this really took Anthrax to a new level. Tracks like AIR, Lone Justice, Madhouse, The Enemy, Armed and Dangerous, Medusa, Gung Ho, Stand or Fall, Aftershock. Just amazing songs top to bottom. And also the first one with Joey Belladonna, who's no doubt the best vocalist Anthrax ever or will ever have. Sorry to Neil Turbin and John Bush, but they don't compare to Joey Belladonna. And this album, masterpiece. Coming in at number 7, we have one from the grunge era, even though I consider them more a doom band personally. Alison Chains, Dirt. This is one of my all-time favorite albums, and in terms of like Facelift, amazing debut. Absolutely amazing. But when it came down to the songwriting department, Dirt has it beat. I mean, this is doom-laden, depressive, dark, Sabbath influenced. It's a masterpiece. 1992, tracks like Them Bones, Down in a Hole, Sick Man, Rooster, maybe my favorite Alison Chains song of all time, the title track, Angry Chair, Wood, like every song on here absolutely rips. It's wow. No more to be said. Number 6, probably the best sophomore album in the history of death metal, and it's the one that really got the ball rolling after their first album to really get death metal off the ground and really, really going for it, and that's, of course, Death, Leprosy. I mean, I love Scream Bloody Gore to death, but Leprosy, man, I mean, the production gets better, songwriting becomes more defined and refined, whereas Scream Bloody Gore, a little more on the thrashy end of the scale. Here, this is like full-on, full-bore death metal. Like, every death metal album you will ever hear that came out after Leprosy has a part inspired from this album in some fashion. Songs like the title track, Born Dead, Left to Die, Pull the Plug, top to bottom, perfection. Absolute perfection. But now we're into the top 5, and these are, in my opinion, the 5 true essential albums. And coming in at number 5, and it is Megadeth Peace Sells. While not my favorite Megadeth album, it's my number 2, of course, as you guys knew from the Megadeth album ranking video I did a little while back. But it's a phenomenal sophomore album. Killing Is My Business, great debut, very raw, very gritty. But here, in terms of the songwriting and the production, total step up. Absolute step up. Songs like Wake Up Dead, the title track, Devil's Island, Good Morning Black Friday, My Last Words. And also, it's the final album with the Mustaine, Elfson, Poland, and Samuelson lineup that's so criminally underrated, in my opinion. But yeah, 1986, really 86, the golden year of thrash. And this was one of those albums that really, really made an impact. No question. Coming in at number 4, and this one, we're going way back to the mid-70s with this pick, and that is Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. I just think when it comes to Priest albums, this is number 2 for me behind Painkiller. But I mean, it's 70s based, but it's so far apart from the other metal or hard rock bands like Sabbath, Zeppelin, Purple, among the other ones, Rainbow even. But yeah, 1976, Judas Priest puts together a masterpiece. Tracks like Victim of Changes, Dreamer Deceiver, Tyrant, Island of Domination, Epitaph, top to bottom, again, just heavy metal glory, and also kind of proto-prog metal a little bit on a couple tracks like Victim of Changes, and especially Dreamer Deceiver, which Dreamer Deceiver I think is one of the greatest metal songs of all time, and it's also one I like to sing along to here and there when I'm in the mood. But Sad Wings of Destiny. Number 3. Oh, this is where it got really difficult trying to rank these 3, but coming in at number 3, we got Iron Maiden Killers. I mean, again, going as far as the songwriting and the production value, it's a total step up from the first album. Like, the first album, very energetic, very punky, even though Steve Harris doesn't want to admit that. It's a punky sounding album for a new wave of British heavy metal at the time. But Killers, man, I mean, it just absolutely propelled Maiden to the next level of where they were going to eventually get to. And yeah, it's the last album with Paul Di'Anno, but I mean, still, Martin Birch taking over the production, and top to bottom, from Ides of March through to Drifter, not a wasted moment. It's just brilliant. It's still got a little bit of that punky energy, but the production is so fucking well done. Nothing more, nothing less to be said. Now for the top 2. This is where it really hurt me, because these, in my opinion, are the 2 quintessential ones. But I only put this one at number 2 because without number 1, number 2 wouldn't have existed. And at number 2, Metallica Ride the Lightning. I mean, what else can I say about this album that I haven't said several times in the past? Thrash metal perfection. Eventually, it got even more perfected with Master of Puppets, in my opinion, but Ride the Lightning, it's classic. Fight Fire with Fire, the title track, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, Trapped Under Ice, Escape, Creeping Death, Call of Cthulhu. Plus, it was the first album when they went over to Denmark to work with Flemming Rasmussen, and he really made a huge difference in terms of the production from Kill 'Em All to here. And got better on Master of Puppets. Regressed a little bit on And Justice for All, but still, just amazing. Nothing more, nothing less to be said. And then finally, number 1, this should be an obvious choice. And yeah, people might be tired of this album because it's been on the radio for so many years, but you can't deny the importance and the quality of the music, and that is Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I mean, again, you can turn on the radio and find pretty much all these songs, except for maybe Hand of Doom, but War Pigs is a classic, the title track, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Planet Caravan, even the instrumental Rat Salad was cool, Fairies Wear Boots, Hand of Doom. Top to bottom, all 8 songs. Early heavy metal perfection from late 1970. Again, you can turn on the radio at any given point and hear one of these songs for the most part, and you are going to have a good time with it. So yeah, those were my choices of the 15 sophomore metal albums. I wanted to do 15 to give some highlights to some that I don't see get on a lot of other people's lists. Hell, there's so many others I could have went with, like Avenged Sevenfold, Awaken the Fallen, Testament, The New Order, Overkill, Taking Over, Autopsy, Mental Funeral. There's so many great sophomore albums in metal out there that you should definitely check out. So, with all that said, thank you guys for watching this video, and until next time, horns high. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing ShitTech's brand new ShitCan. This revolutionary on-the-go product will be the biggest savior of your life. Say you're at a hotel that doesn't have any toilets, or you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere as your car breaks down, you can take the ShitTech ShitCan with you if you need to take a dump, piss, or puke whenever you need to.
Yep, you can never go wrong with GIF media files.
You are aware it's pronounced GIF, right?
Oh no, silly, this is a GIF.
Damn it, we don't even have spam in here! Whoa!